go ahead. We are now recording this session, so Carisha, I'm going to go ahead and have you start and introduce the group for us today.
Okay, thank you, Ruth. My name is Carisha Devlin, and I am the chair of the Facilitator Training and Support Committee, and I am an extension educator from Missouri, and I've been involved with Annie's project for about, probably 13, 14 years now, so it's been a while. And the other members of the committee is Ruth Hambleton, who is the president of the Annie's Project Education for Women, and Claudette Roper is our director of administration. Angela Latsvius, and I know, Angela, I just butchered your last name. I apologize. She is one of our board members.
No problem.
And Willie Hewitt from North Dakota Extension is also on this committee. And would we like to take a few minutes to go around and kind of have the individuals on the call perhaps introduce themselves and what state they're representing? And I realize that some of you, I don't think, are able perhaps to talk. If you can't, you might could post something in chat if you'd like. Bonnie Collins is the first person that pops up for me on the attendees list. And I hear somebody talking. I don't know if Bonnie's able to participate. And I don't know. Claudette, as I said, I introduced Claudette a while ago. She is our director of administration. Crystal, what state are you from?
I'm with Purdue Extension in Indiana. I'm not the state facilitator, but I have hosted this project once before.
Thank you. Damona.
Hi, I'm Damona Doy from Oklahoma State University, and we've had Annie's projects for probably, I don't know, more than a decade. And Sarah Seams has been representing us as well at many of the national events.
Laura?
Hi, I'm Laura Miller. I am not the state coordinator. I'm just a member of Texas A&M Macrolife Extension, and I'm happy to be on your call here.
Carisha, if I could interrupt, she's not just anything. We appreciate what every single facilitator out there does. You are key to what we do, right along with your state coordinators.
Absolutely. Madeline has posted in her chat that she's having a little audio trouble, but she is hearing us, so thank you, Madeline, for joining us. Mark. Not sure if Mark is going to be able to talk. Mark is one of my colleagues here in Missouri. Megan, we heard from you earlier. Randy?
I am with AgStar up in Minnesota. I am a facilitator, and Amy Durand is actually our coordinator for our area.
Patricia? Patricia may be having some technical issues as well. Patricia is actually one of my colleagues from the University of Missouri also. Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary Soba. I'm one of the several on here from Missouri. I see several folks, and co-state coordinator with Carisha. Glad to be on.
Angela?
I am Angie Stroman with Palo Alto County Extension in Iowa, and I'm just a facilitator.
Susan.
I am an area family resource management agent here in Mississippi. I'm not the state coordinator, but I have been working with Annie's project for about 10 years here in Mississippi.
Wesley.
Hi, I'm Wesley Tucker, facilitator in Missouri, and was just elected to the national board, so thought I would listen in and see what you guys are covering today.
Willie?
Sure. Willie Hewitt, coordinator for North Dakota, also on the national board, as well as serving in this committee, so happy to be on the call today.
And I noticed Amy had joined us. Not sure, maybe she's having some technical issues as well. That's technology is wonderful, but there's often some challenges. I know I've had a little computer issues. Yes, Amy?
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes, I can.
Amy, it's Amy Zims-Timmerman. I am a facilitator in Nebraska, county-based educator.
Well, thank you all once again for joining us today. And to echo what Claudette said, whether
hello,
you're...
can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Sonia Gasho. I'm the state coordinator with Arizona.
Okay. Well, thank you. Is there anybody else?
Please tell me. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but please tell me if you hear too much background noise and I'll hang up. I'm out working cows.
Oh, okay. All right. So far, so good.
Okay.
Well, again, thanks to everyone for joining us. And, you know, even those of you that are multitasking by working cows, we appreciate you listening in. And as to echo what Claudette said, no matter whether you're a facilitator or state coordinator, you're very important to us, and you know you're the boots on the ground for us as far as Annie's project and reaching the farm women that are out there that are interested and need this program. So without any further ado, we probably should just go ahead and jump into our agenda since we do have a limited time together. And at any point, if any of you have questions, please stop us and let us know. You can see on our agenda items some of the things that we would like to discuss today, starting with RMA, the request for proposals. Now that's probably come across many of your desks in the last week or so. And then we're going to talk about our newsletter that we sent out and the need for submissions and hearing from all of you about the great things that you're doing in your states. Talk a little bit about reporting, and then about training requests if the states are needing to train facilitators. If we have time, we may delve into a scorecard. It's something that will be new to all of you. And then we'd like to leave plenty of time for discussions and questions that you all may have. So jumping into the first item is the RMA request for proposals. I'm going to turn it over to Ruth.
Okay, thank you, Carisha. Many of you have probably already seen this request for proposals. It was released on May 5th. There are two requests for proposals, one that covers general partnerships, the Risk Management Education Partnership Program, and the second one is crop insurance education in targeted states. The purpose for really both of these is to deliver crop insurance education and risk management training. The priority is that we are trying to develop programs for crops that are not insured under federal crop insurance, and that translates into specialty crops, livestock, forages, that kind of thing. And then the priority audience for RMA is limited resource, socially disadvantaged, and underserved. And in our case, it's the farm and ranch women. These proposals are due July 5th, and what we are proposing to do as Annie's Project Education for Farm Women is to put applications in for a number of states. And Angela, I'm going to have you talk a little bit about some of the ideas that you shared with our group when we talked about this, writing up this proposal.
Okay, so we talked about a lot of things, but one of the things that I'm new. I've just finished my first year on the board, so I don't certainly have all the answers. But we did talk about some of the reasons our applications have not done as well. But more than that, to a little bit of a different approach with Annie's, and to see, first of all, you know, I would like these to be demand-driven. I don't want us to be coming places where we haven't had a demand for people wanting to take Annie's projects. But then to kind of see if those people can be divided into any kind of subgroups. Like, are they all organic? Are they mostly cattle? Are they mostly small farms, new farms? And then kind of target the proposal to meet those folks, if that makes sense.
Could I ask at this time if any of the states, anybody on the call, is looking or is familiar with the request that we're talking about here, the RMA request for proposals?
I know you had one a couple of years ago, but I didn't realize there was one out again.
Okay.
Ruth, this is Damona. Yes, Sarah and I have been discussing components. Our components the past couple of years have included our statewide conference for women in agriculture, a small amount to support Annie's projects, but some work that Sarah does with horticultural producers as well as on food safety. As we've reread the call this year, there seems to be an increased emphasis on kind of innovative things, and certainly crop insurance is very much highlighted in terms of the language. So,
okay. Anybody else?
Yeah. North Dakota Committee with that proposal, we were in the process of thinking of trying to develop a this is very useful to our state at this time.
Okay. Well, with that, let me go ahead and share a little bit about the states that we thought we would be able to put proposals together in partnership and make applications to the different RMA regions around the country. So what you have now in front of you is the slide with the states' names. Now, keep in mind, we can add names to this list. We can take names off if you don't want to. This is just as a result of our brainstorming when we was looking at the possibility of putting application in for the RMA funding. So Arizona, from the California Davis Regional Office, we thought, Sonia, if you're still with us here, you know, you've got your cattle and ranching that goes on out in your direction. Brent Young is not on, from Colorado. Maryland and Delaware, Shannon Dill and Jenny Rhodes. Illinois, we're looking at it from a small farms aspect. Jennifer Hunter, I don't think she's on. She does a lot of specialty. And Susan Cosgrove, we're looking at Mississippi from the standpoint of the diverse kind of agriculture that you experience in that part of the world. Florida, Missouri, New York, South Carolina, and Texas rounds out the list of where we are thinking of contacting and working with these coordinators to put the proposal together for RMA funding. I'll go ahead and if you would give your feedback to Angela and myself.
Was this information sent to the state coordinators, like just to Sylvia here in
We have not
The
shared
list?
this list out yet. This is our brainstorming list.
No, I mean the RMA information.
Claudette, have
RMA information is
around?
if you've had a successful project in the past, I think they have developed an email list that they routinely send the PIs a notice of the new proposals. So if you've had one before, you might have gotten a direct email.
What we can do here is we can send out the link to the request for proposal that you can print it out and read it if you so desire. It's my understanding that a lot of us have already been working with RMA, have seen this request for proposal, and maybe there's a group, Susan, that maybe Sylvia Clark has not seen it and may not be familiar with it. So I'm going to put that on our to-do list, is to send out that link with the request for proposal. It'll be a duplicate for many of you, but for those few that I'm going to have to hit, that'll be the way to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Ruth, this is Mary. A question. Your list you have here, what were you thinking how this would work? Would the national office write these grants, or are you wanting us to write the grants? Because we were looking at possibly submitting some other projects as well, not just 100% Annie's project.
Right, and it's my understanding that you can put in several different proposals. So if Missouri wants to put in one for Annie's project and one for another project, that would be something that would be permitted under the guidelines.
And then who would write these proposals?
Well, Angela, you want to kind of talk the strategy we came up with?
Well, again, we're just still throwing ideas around, but we were thinking as a national board to write a grant, not necessarily for every state that wants Annie's, but for some that would like to do it as a partnership. And then if you had other non-Annie's things that you wanted to apply for yourself, you certainly could do that. Or you could not be part of the national proposal and go it yourself. Right now, I think we're kind of asking who would like to do it from a national perspective. And then the national office would write the grant. And then
okay, that's where I'm a little fuzzy. So you're looking at the national office would write the grants
and subcontract with the states.
And then it would go to whatever regional office you have listed on there. Is that the path? I'm trying to follow the path.
So the grants don't go to the regional offices, but they would work through those regional offices.
So, Mary, one of the ways that we're thinking of the states would work with us is we would have this general body of the grant, and then when it comes to the specific projects for each of the states, then we would just modify that section of the grant to fit what you are describing to us that you would do in that period of time.
Okay. I know my supervisor prefers us to go through our university when we work on grants. Now, I don't know, that may just be a Missouri thing. I'm not sure how widespread that is. So I understand you want to subcontract basically with these states, and in-house, our state's promoting, they're wanting to keep things within the state. I don't know. I think I'd probably have to talk to our supervisor before I could say yay or nay.
Okay, other comments? All right, well, hearing none, we will be moving forward with this, contacting different coordinators to check to see what the interest would be in this, and we will be doing this via email. So we're looking for a response here, say within the next week, so we can start putting the packages together here. It is an online submission through the results verification system at the University of Minnesota. So it is an all online process that we will need to put the components together and get the requests in. So we'll give you a week to think about it then. If there's names that, I know other people are going to be listening to this as a recording, so if you want to be a part of this, you'll just have to contact Angela, myself, or you can talk to Claudette Roper as well. Okay, let me move on then to the next item. Quarterly newsletter. Claudette, if you would like to talk about how you want stuff submitted to you.
Thank you. Very simple. If there's something you'd like to submit for our consideration, please email it to me, administrator@anniesproject.org. And that, again, anything that you think would be of interest or encouragement to fellow either coordinators or facilitators, I'd appreciate getting it. And if we can't put it in this one, we may be able to use it in the next one.
When is your deadline, Claudette?
The next one goes out at the beginning of June. Excuse me, yeah, it should go out in June, so kind of right now, unfortunately. So that's why I say get it in to me, and I might be able to get it in right away, and there's some that might wait until the next one.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, this is Sonia. I had to get off the phone a minute. Did you say which states you're targeting?
Yes, Sonia, you was on the list, so we'll give you a call and talk to you more specifically. Because I don't think you can see our screen, can you? You're just on the phone with us?
No, I'm just on the phone.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll be in contact with you and kind of give you more of the ideas of what we're looking for here. But yes, Arizona is on our list. All right, let me move on then. If there's no questions, we did go to a quarterly newsletter. We have one out now, so we hope you find it useful. And then, Claudette, I'm just going to have you continue on with the emphasis on reporting for us, if you would cover this topic.
I apologize. I had a little trouble unmuting, and I also lost my notes, but that's okay. Just looking at the slide, why we need certain information from you. If you think about what we just talked about, such as grants, this is something that when we're applying for grants, when we are reporting on grants, it's crucial that we're accurate about what we say we do. If we say we've reached, 1,000 women, we need to be able to show that we have reached 1,000 women. Knowing the demographics, the areas they're from, the states, the counties, things like that, really all do matter. We are very, very protective of your information. We do not give it out. An exception to that would be giving it back to you. So if you lose your records, I know of one state where their records were all wiped out by a thief, and that makes for a difficult situation. So we would give it back to you. One of the, for instances, also is if you have a 10-year anniversary bash and you want to invite everyone you've ever had, in some states that's really easy because one person keeps the records. In other states, every facilitator keeps their own, and it can be pretty hard to pull together, especially when a facilitator leaves employment. And so in an instant like that, again, we give it back to the state, but we don't ever give it out. So, you know, basically everything we're doing is built on trust, very much like, you know, we want you to trust us with your records, and we trust you with our program. It's just built on trust, and it has a purpose just so that we do a good job and we can meet reporting requirements. Any questions? Sounds like we're ready to move on, Ruth.
Okay, well then our next frequent request that we've been getting now is how do you submit for training requests? So if you are planning to train facilitators for a state or for a group of states, we have a form now that you fill out. That form is then taken to our Facilitator Training and Support Committee, which is Willie and Carisha and myself and Doris Mold, and we will assign trainers to that particular state, group of state, and we will handle the implementation from there. Let's see if I can find the form for you here. This is the form, and Claudette, can you tell me where we've got this listed? Is it in the Facilitators webpage?
It is not yet. I was actually waiting to make sure that was the final draft that was approved, and I will put it on the facilitators page.
Okay. But basically what we're asking you to do is what type of training do you want? Annie's project, basic level, the managing for today or tomorrow, or do you want a combination of the two? The date of the request helps us try to be timely and move things through. The committee will approve it, sign the date of the training. We want the person who is our first contact, whoever contacted us first, so we can kind of keep track of the line of communications. What is the position of that person? Are you the state coordinator? Are you a facilitator? Well, the first point of contact, maybe that didn't make sense here, Claudette. Okay, then the training site, where do you plan to hold the training? How many estimated people do you attend? Do you think will attend? Then we keep track of actual. We'll assign up to 3 trainers. The training fee for Annie's project is $3,000, and then there is the funding source. Is the state paying for it? Is the sponsor paying for it? So that is our training request form that we are now using, and we'll let you know through an email then, Claudette, where it's physically located on the facilitator's webpage. Do you have any questions?
Let me address.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before the question, maybe we'll cover some of it. Just let me address point of contact, first point of contact versus person making request. You may have one person making the request and then say, hey, you know, as you move on with this, you've got my permission and I want you to deal with this person. Put that person in your first point of contact. Also, I will post it on the facilitator page under the heading of training. And usually with the exception of the first few lines that are like some immediate things you need to get to, everything's alphabetical. The other thing, Ruth, why don't you explain why sometimes it would be a real benefit to do both an AP and an MTT together?
Well, it's just a matter of economics. You've got the people on site, you know, we're there, and rather than bring us back for an MTT only, if you are in the business of training, it might serve you well to have us do both at the same time. It's just a matter of economics. All right now, as far as training goes, we're going to be in Grand Island, Nebraska, Doris Mold, Willie, and myself. We will be there May 24th and 5th. Am I saying the right dates? 25th, May 25th and 26th. Illinois has got a training request in, and North Dakota has a training request in. So this is going to help us make sure that we're not going to miss anybody who wants to train their facilitators. The other thing about this form here Right now, the Annie's Project Education for Farm Women Board, we are in the process of naming designated trainers that will be located throughout the United States. What our plan is we want to work with that group of people. So let's say, for instance, in New York, we would work with Bonnie and David Cox. We would certify them as a trainer of Annie's Project, and they would have a certain set of resources that they would use for both Annie's Project basic classes and level 2 courses, and that way our training is going to be consistent across the United States. So we'll let you know about the names on our list. You can submit your name for consideration, and we will develop that network of trainers then that will be certified to conduct the training in the different states. So any questions on that? I heard somebody talking.
Oh, I was talking to my cows.
Okay. All right then. Moving right along then. I think we have just a few minutes that we can get in our scorecard then.
Before you leave that, can I make mention of the training request? For North Dakota here, we have a training we're requesting it in. And perhaps a year from now then, maybe we have 4 or 5 other individuals who want to get involved in Annie's project. So I guess I think some questions are going to arise is that given the fee of the training, then what will happen a year down the road when probably 4 or 5 or additional 6 people in the state want to be trained to conduct Annie's project? And if it would in fact require a whole other training session to be scheduled through the national board again?
That's a good question, Willie. We're kind of on a continuous conveyor belt here, and where you put the stop tab on it, I really don't know. So we'll put that in our box of something to consider. I don't have the answer for you.
Okay. Thanks, Ruth.
Mm-hmm. All right, then let's spend just a minute here on what's going to be a new feature in 2016 is we're going to apply a scorecard to the states that are offering Annie's Project. We're using this as a means to evaluate the states and how they are offering Annie's Project programs. Some of the criteria we have is that we want to see that the person who is conducting the Annie's Project has been trained. Right now we have the last 5 years. That could be a subjective number at this point. We want to see that your state has used our evaluation system that we contract with RISE at the University of Iowa, or Iowa State University, Iowa State University. We want to see that you have submitted your syllabus with facilitators' names in the attendees list. That's part of the reporting requirement. And then we simply put this through a scorecard giving out points. Top states will receive a gold star on your website and other social media outlets, and sort of like a feather in your cap that people, when they come to your website, they'll see that you are a top deliverer of the program Annie's Project. So most of this information is going to be what you've already submitted. We're going to be able to comb through our files to find a lot of this stuff. But just to let you know that we are going to be handing out some kudos in the next year or two. So questions for the scorecard? Okay, well then with that, why don't we go to your questions then.
This is Sonia. One of the questions we have is, do you find that your farm ladies are using a AMS or management system? We're finding that our ladies use that, and so then they kind of don't see why they should attend Annie's if somebody else is already handling their insurance and whatnot.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that?
Well, is this a software program that you're talking about?
I don't actually use it. As far as I know, it's not available for livestock, but I just found out from our, we run the program through our Farm Bureau office, not the Extension office. We work with the Extension agents, but we actually run the program through Farm Bureau. And we were just discussing how we could get ladies more involved and excited about attending, because we're still trying to get past the hurdle of people even knowing what the course is about. And apparently there's management services that handle a lot of, you can contract for whatever level of service you want, whether that's simply doing your taxes or handling everything for a farm. And I was wondering if you guys are familiar with that and how you get past that and encouraging people to come to Annie's event.
Okay, is there anyone who'd like to comment on that? How do you convince a woman who someone's already keeping her records that this course would be something that would be beneficial to her?
Mary, I might make a comment or two. One is, if they're contracting somebody to do their records and advise them on management decisions, I would hope that the actual person doing the contracting had better understand whether they're getting a quality job or not. And those are some of the kinds of things I think that they're going, things they would want to be learning through Annie's project. It sounds like it's a management firm.
That's the impression I'm getting, but like I said, it's not available for livestock that I know of, so I really am not totally familiar with it. But we've just noticed a trend as well that most of the people that have attended our Annie's classes are livestock ladies, and so I'm wondering if that may be part of the reason why, is because some of the farm ladies already have somebody handling their stuff.
This is Carisha from Missouri, and I haven't heard about that particular program, and I'm probably the opposite situation as you, where I deal mostly with row crop individuals instead of livestock producers. So I don't know, there's a lot of things to look at. It may be the way it's marketed. I don't know, maybe the different items you have more on your agenda. If you have it more geared toward livestock, because that's the individuals that you have had come into it. I'm not sure, but like Mary said,
we've pretty much just been doing the regular.
But like Mary said, the class is, so much more than just record keeping. And so,
I completely agree. It's just figuring out how to get the ladies to know that, a little more.
And
I agree. This is Devona. The breadth of programming, the scope of the materials that are covered in Annie's is really beneficial, and so they can't just outsource decision making and be sure that they're getting the right things for their family and their farm. And the networking at a local level, I think, is also really invaluable and needs to be stressed to people, because they learn, who provides services in their county and who they can trust. And
right, and I agree with all of that, and I would say that's the huge value of Annie's. I'm trying to get at, can I get some specific ideas of how you guys market if somebody is using a management system, so that we can answer that specifically. So,
our most effective
I completely
marketing,
agree with all that.
Our most effective marketing is word of mouth. Women who've been in Annie's project shares it with other people who wouldn't otherwise look at it, and they wind up coming. So it's like all things. You can read about it in the paper, but then when someone personally talks to me about it, it takes on a whole new meaning for me. So the word of mouth in this program particularly, I think, carries a lot of weight.
This is Amy from Nebraska. I just want to maybe put out whatever service they're using, maybe reach out to them and see if they want to be a partner and a presenter for one of your Annie projects.
Right.
And I do a lot of work with Farm Credit Services, and so they come over all the time, and they really then push Annie's to their clientele. And that's how I've gotten a few of mine, is just outreaching to them.
And I thought you said that is the management program, is it through Farm Bureau, or is that how they've learned about it? You said something about Farm Bureau. I may have missed it.
I'm not an extension agent. I am a cattle producer, and I learned about Annie's in Baltimore at the Farm Bureau Women's Leadership. Our state Farm Bureau is the organization that's coordinating the monies and registration. And then I'm the state facilitator and get all the presenters and whatnot.
I see. Well, I was just going to add, just working with organizations like Farm Bureau or Farm Credit, getting their involvement in the program, they can be tremendous marketers for you as well, just because, or even, at a local level, some of your banks or, elevators, co-ops, that sort of thing, they can be someone that can help get the word out about the program. Because I think that's just your missing link there, is just helping to get the word out about the program a little bit more and strengthening your marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize the focus. I'm sorry, this is Claudette. Just changing the focus, like someone had already said. I think it was Damona, about what are they not getting yet? Because there's a lot more than just the record keeping.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just Googled AMS, and so it's a John Deere service that provides, so it's using the data from the machines, and apparently they're also offering some additional services associated with that. And so, again, I would say the focus or the benefit of that is much narrower than Annie's project.
And I would agree.
Yeah.
Is there another coordinator or facilitator on the phone that is not working through an extension service? Because perhaps speaking with someone that's in a situation like yours could be helpful. Because I know that when we already work within extension, we're kind of used to the avenues of marketing and so forth already. But I can see where it could be challenging, where you're coming in as a producer and trying to work with others to get a program off the ground.
Well, yeah, that'd be great if you know of somebody else who is a producer. We work with Extension all the time, and they're awesome. I don't want to disrespect that at all, but because it's not a official program, I guess you'd say, of the state, we maybe don't get the advertising that you might if you were, strictly through Extension. So.
Another idea for, I think it's Sonia, the livestock producer. If you could get one of the people that have went through the management to also go through Annie's.
Okay, I will.
That person would be your biggest advocate and spread the word. It might have to be a complimentary. See if you could get somebody to sponsor one person for free.
Right.
And that might be a big seller if you get one person to go.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Well, thank you for your thoughts.
Okay, then other questions or other comments that we might have, some other situations that you have going on in your states, or questions that you may have specifically for us? Well, all right then. It sounds like we've got most bases covered for this particular quarterly meeting of the State Facilitators and Coordinators meeting. This meeting is recorded, and we will post it to the Facilitators website. And with that, I will thank Carisha Devon, Chairman of the Facilitator Training and Support Committee, for leading the teleconference today. I'm Ruth Hamilton, President of the Annie's Project Education for Farm Women. And I'd like to thank Angela Kazakavicius, Willie Hewitt, and then, of course, Claudette Roper, Director of Administration. So with that, I will say goodbye to everybody. Thank you for attending, and good farming for everybody, and ranching.
Thank you.